Let's talk about field operations and more so kind of a checklist or considerations you might want to follow whenever you are setting up your trailer, your truck, and however you're going to be handling the drone and the equipment that you need. This isn't necessarily a checklist of things that you should have, like as far as specific items, more so a guide, questions to ask yourself that pertain to your operation about how you're going to do these things. Because every operation can be different. First off, safety. That's the number one thing here when we're talking about how to set up our truck and trailer and what we need in it and on it. So PPE, personal protective equipment for chemical handling, gloves, goggles, protective clothing, respirator if needed, should be in the trailer, on the truck, wherever it's going to be, accessible when you're mixing chemical. You should have these, and it should be based off your MSDS as far as what you actually need when rinsing that certain product. And then rinse water, clean water tank on your truck or your trailer to be able to rinse off your arms if you spill chemical on them, right? That's really important. Some soap would also be a good idea as well. The next two things here are, basically safety for flying the drone. These are big drones, props that spin very fast, and they can be very dangerous if something bad happens and you're not prepared for it. So first off, keeping line of sight, not only is that important for, um, legality purposes, you have to keep line of sight based on your FAA license. But if you can't see the drone, then A, you might lose connection, and B, you don't know 100% what that drone is around, right? What's beside that drone, especially if you lose connection. So a platform to keep line of sight, maintain connection is very important to keep you and whoever's around you safe. And then the last thing here is probably the most important piece of the puzzle is not necessarily a platform, but at least a space to land the drone that is away from people and obstacles. You you don't know. I mean, same thing's going to happen. A motor could go out, an ASC could go out. You could lose a prop. An arm could come unbuckled. There's a gamut of things that could happen. The what if scenarios that rarely ever happen. What if they happen? And if you're landing, let's say, on top of a trailer, and the drone, and you're 20 feet away from the drone or less, most likely, and the drone does come towards you uncontrollably, what are you going to do? Do you have a barrier to get behind whenever the drone is taking off? If not, you should. Okay, the next thing here is chemical handling, more so specifically how you're going to mix chemical. There's a number of ways to do this. There's no one perfect solution for everybody. We have operators that mix each load into the drone tank itself. Not very efficient, but it works for them. One of the most cost-effective ways is just to pre-mix into bulk tanks. So if you're going to spray 200 acres at a 2-gallon rate, you need 400 gallons of product. Pre-mix, you can get a couple of IBC totes or cage tanks or a big 500-gallon tank and pre-mix in there at the beginning of the day. Make sure you recirculate it, during operation so it doesn't separate. And this is a very easy, affordable way. However, there are limitations. What happens if you get rained out? What happens if the drone crashes and it takes 2 days to get it fixed and you have all that chemical sitting in there, 300 gallon of product? And the other thing too is you cannot decrease the application rate once you mix it up. So if you do your math wrong, right, or if you plan on doing a 2-gallon rate, you're like, I really do it. Maybe I can get by with 1-gallon rate, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. You can't change that. Once you mix it, it's mixed. You got to spray it out as it is. So there are limitations there. The next is a cone bottom mix tanks. Recommend to get at least 2 of these, 30-gallon or bigger. That way you can cycle them. That way you have a big clean water tank on the trailer, and you pump that water into one of your cone tanks, pour in your chemical, make sure a way to measure that chemical properly. Recirculate, agitate it just like you would with a big bulk tank, but instead of having 500 gallons mixed up, now you only have about 60 or so. And you can cycle from one bulk tank to the next, or cone tank to the next. This is a pretty simple, very common thing that guys do. And of course, there are auto mixing systems. We have at Agri Spray Drones our auto mixer, which is specifically designed for spray drones. If you don't know much about it, I recommend looking into it. It is a very unique system designed specifically for spray drones. But whenever you're using any auto mixing system, make sure that you have it calibrated. That's the biggest thing here. Calibrate to make sure that it's pumping in correctly. Don't just blindly trust it. Make sure you calibrate and test it. And do a jar test. Any way you mix chemical, if you're mixing anything, read the labels and do a jar test. I just want to show you guys an example of how this can end badly. So this is an example of 3 products that were typically sprayed at 15 gallon per acre with a ground rig, and a guy wanted to do it at 2 gallon per acre with his drone. So there's just the math here on how that works out. It's a 7.5 times more concentrated rate with the drone. So things change. Always read the label. This particular application here is off label with the drone, but always read the label and it will tell you what you need to know. You can search these online as well. You don't have to just pull it off the jug. Just hop on Google, frankly, search the chemical name, search label, and you will find it, and you can do a kind of a find through there a little bit easier. Okay, so with this example here, here's a jar test. This is at mixing, 15 gallon per acre on the left, 2 gallon per acre on the right. Looks about the same. Here's 2 minutes after mixing, just 2 minutes without recirculation. Look, we've already got some clumping starting to form here and starting to settle. There's the bottom there. You can see some settling actually happening right now at 2 minutes. And this is at 10 minutes. And we've got complete separation. We've got sludge in the bottom of that jar. This is the bottom of your drone tank. If you're mixing these products at 2 gallon per acre, which the reason they separate is because that's not enough water to keep them in suspension, this would happen in your drone tanks. Also, it could happen in your pumps as well. So make sure to do a jar test. Fungicides especially can have a tendency to settle out and clump in the bottom of tanks, form a cake, clump around your filters, and inside your pumps. So it's important to understand this. And yeah, just to recap, here's some key takeaways. Follow the label. When in doubt, do a jar test. Use your PPE and make sure everyone is trained. Okay, as far as pump systems go, how you're going to actually transfer that product from however you're mixing it into your drone, that's pretty important. It's actually very important because you do this, typically 7 to 10 times every hour, and you want this to be as quick as possible and as easy as possible, really. So there are a number of pumps you can get. There's no one pump that works best, right? Everybody has a different opinion. Some guys use gas-powered wet seal transfer pumps. Some guys use big electric pumps. Some guys use cheap electric pumps. There's really no perfect solution. Just make sure your flow rate is high enough, 20 gallon per acre at least, or 20 gallon per minute. That should be GPM, not GPA. 20 gallon per minute at least is definitely recommended. You want to be able to fill your drone tank, and if you can do it in 30 seconds, that's great. And if you're using that pump for recirculation into your chemical mixing tank, you want to have a continuous duty cycle of that pump. You don't want it to overheat and trip out. And then hoses and plumbing. So when it comes to like the hoses and plumbing for actually all your chemical mixing and circulation and whatnot, there's a whole thing to get into there, so we can't really go in through like how to actually set that up right now. Plenty of examples out there, and you can talk to your supplier of your plumbing components, and they can help you out there. But when it comes to actually filling the drone, 3/4 inches hose is what is the minimum. Inch is typically what we use. Use suction hose like that. Green banded or yellow banded hose works really well because it doesn't kink. It's very frustrating when your hose kinks on you. And then nozzles, you can use a 3/4 inch fuel nozzle or 1 inch nozzle with auto shut off. This is fine. Sometimes they might cause foaming, and sometimes the chemical will gunk them up too. So don't expect them to last forever. And you might get foaming with certain products through there. A 1 inch valve and banjo valve and a hose barb with hose barb filed down is actually what we tend to use here at Agri spray drones because it fits through our 3/4 inch fill through cap and it works pretty well. There are a number of ways to do this though. On the Roadrunner, we're actually using a banjo fitting that we kind of like as well too. So there's no perfect solution here. just a lot of, figuring it out what works best for you. Okay, trailer setup. This is a whole can of worms. We could get into a lot of stuff here as far as like what kind of trailer you should get. Um, what I'm going to recommend is keep it simple, right? Don't overthink this and don't overspend on it as well until you know what you need for your operation. And there's really three big questions you got to ask yourself when you're thinking about what kind of trailer you need and what to build out. Where will all the stuff go? Your water, generator, drone, charging station, batteries, mix tanks, pumps, and everything else that you need. Where will it go, and how will it be safe for traveling from one field to the next and down the highway? And think about weight. Water weighs 8 pounds a gallon. Chemical is going to weigh more than that. So if you're carrying 1,000 gallons of water, the water itself is going to weigh at least 8,000 pounds. So trailer axle weight is pretty important. Where are you landing on the trailer? Are you landing on the trailer or on the ground, right? What's best? Well, that depends what you're doing, right? Landing on a trailer is nice, but there's, some people don't like to do that. That also makes for a really tall trailer. So landing on the ground can kind of lighten the load a little bit. Sometimes you can't do that though. So there's no perfect solution here. If you are landing on the ground on a road, gravel, dust, and sand will blow in your face, and it could actually blow into your charger if you have that on the ground as well. So if you are on the ground, best and it's dusty, put the charger in the back of the pickup. That's usually a good idea. And how will you transport the drone from field to field? A loaded drone is heavy. And drones are getting bigger and bigger, right? J100 is actually pretty easy to pick up with one person if it's empty. If it's full, not so much. So this is where platforms where you can land the drone on and go from one field to the next are nice, but not necessary for every operation. The Roadrunner that we use here at Agri spray drones works very well for a lot of situations. It's easy to transport. It's lightweight. It's cost effective. It's kind of what you need for some situations. We also use deck over trailers, right? And some of those are great too for corn and large fields, especially. Okay, generator. What generator do you need? Well, really, with the J100 charger, it's doesn't matter that much as long as you've got at least 9,000 running watts. The J100 charger will pull a max of 9,000 watts. That's 50 amp. It's on a 240 volt is what that is. You can dial that back, right? You can do that through Bluetooth and dial that down down to 1,000 watts if you wanted to, just to charge slowly and not pull as much power for the generator. But if you plan to charge fast, I'm going to recommend a 12,000 running watt generator. Or if you get 9,500 running watt generator, that's fine, but you might not be able to run everything else. Do you need clean power? We haven't noticed a difference. Like some generators that have more clean power for electronics, we haven't noticed a difference. So I think you're probably fine without getting that. And additional power needs, right? So what else will you be running? Remote battery charger, pumps. Maybe you've got a fan, mini fridge. I don't know. I mean, you could have a lot of different things that you're running, but you're probably running pumps is the biggest one. So make sure you have enough power to run that and uh, your your battery for your drone. Um, what we've used a couple of different ones on the cheaper side. Westinghouse 9500 works. Predator, they have a 10,000 running watt. I think that one works fine. And so really every generator that we've used has worked fine on the J100 charger. Last thing here, operator comfort. When you're setting up your trailer in your truck, think about operator comfort. Is there a place to sit between fill-ups? Do you have a way to put up shade? A patio umbrella works pretty good. Is there a fan in case it's really hot? Maybe it's not needed, but might not be a bad idea. Bluetooth headset is great, or noise canceling headset. Especially, if you're operating on your own out there and you're close to the generator, you don't have that separation from you and the generator sits right here. You sit right there. That could be a long day if you listen to that generator hum all the time. So Bluetooth headset's great. You can connect it to the drone, to the remote, and hear the warning messages. Pack sunscreen and water. I sound like my mom right now, but it's important. Big hat, sunscreen, and water. You're out there in the field. You're not inside of a tractor cab. So it's going to be long days if you're baking in the sun. Okay, that's kind of it as far as field operations setup goes. I hope that was helpful.